When you work with me, I'm very passionate, so I love getting involved. I also don't feel like, and I used to be insecure about this, and now I'm proud of it, but I've never felt like a good enough actor to go in and say, put me in any clothes, give me any dialogue, put me in any set, and I can transform and become. And because I wasn't that actor, I always felt bad or weak.
When I work with someone, I'm very passionate and deeply involved in everything I do. I used to feel insecure about that, but now I'm proud of it. I never believed I was the kind of actor who could just be placed anywhere, given any costume, any dialogue, any set, and instantly transform. Because I wasn't that type, one sometimes felt strange or inadequate. But over time, I realized that being thoughtful, careful, and emotionally invested is not a weakness. It's part of who I am, and it's what makes my work meaningful. Now let's talk about what's happening today. There has been a major development in this ongoing legal situation involving Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Leslie Sloan, and the New York Times. A company involved in this case has informed the court that they plan to appeal. Many people suspected this would happen, but now it's official. This appeal could change everything and put serious pressure on all parties involved. The case centers on claims that the original lawsuit was baseless and filed without solid evidence. The opposing side argues that the judge already called it frivolous, which supports their request for attorney's fees under anti-SLAPP laws. However, the company argues that they haven't even been given a fair chance to appeal yet. They believe it's unfair to force them to pay fees before the appeal process is complete. A federal judge recently ruled that appeals cannot move forward until decisions are made regarding attorney's fees. This means everything is temporarily on hold. According to court filings, the company plans to appeal the dismissal, claiming that the judge made serious errors. They argue that the court wrongly concluded that there was no actual malice and relied too heavily on selective evidence provided by one side. They also claim that the judge accepted one party's version of events as fact, instead of treating the plaintiff's claims as true, which is normally required at this stage of a case. In a motion to dismiss, judges are supposed to assume the allegations are true and allow the case to move forward if they seem reasonable. Instead, the judge appeared to decide who he believed, which is usually the jury's role. Another major issue involves how confidential documents were handled. The court ruled that certain leaked administrative complaints were protected under fair report privilege. However, these documents were still confidential when they were shared with the press. Under California law, such documents are meant to stay private until officially filed. Critics argue that a secret draft cannot logically be treated as a public record. To support his ruling, the judge relied on an unpublished case, which is unusual and controversial. In California, unpublished opinions are not meant to be used as legal authority. Even the judge admitted this, yet he still used it to justify expanding legal privilege. This could become a major weakness on appeal, because courts generally dislike when judges create new legal rules based on unpublished decisions. By doing this, the judge may have extended fair report protection far beyond what the law intended. This creates a dangerous precedent where private allegations could be leaked to the media and protected under privilege, even before being verified. There are also concerns that the judge ignored important published cases that say privilege only applies once a document is officially filed. Instead, he relied heavily on a case that has no binding authority. Appeals courts often view this as improper and risky. Another controversial aspect is that the case was dismissed with prejudice, meaning it cannot be refiled. This is a very strong and final decision. Usually, if a complaint is messy or unclear, judges allow lawyers to revise it. By completely shutting it down, the judge may have abused his discretion. Appeals courts are known to reverse decisions like this when they believe a party should have been given a chance to amend their case. There is also history that could affect how this appeal is viewed. In a previous high-profile case, the same judge was reversed due to a conflict of interest involving financial holdings. Although that situation was separate, it could increase scrutiny now. The appeals court may examine this case more carefully because of that past ruling. Questions have also been raised about potential personal connections and whether they created an appearance of bias. While this alone may not overturn a decision, it can support an argument that the judge failed to remain fully impartial. When it comes to actual malice, the judge ruled that the newspaper had no reason to doubt the information it published. He viewed the reporting as standard journalism, not a coordinated attack. However, the opposing side argues that they warned reporters that the information was false and provided evidence showing messages were taken out of context. They believe this shows reckless disregard for the truth. They also point to technical evidence suggesting that the article was being prepared long before any public filing, which could indicate close coordination. Proving intent usually requires discovery, including internal emails and communications. By dismissing the case early, the judge prevented this evidence from ever being examined. This is a key argument on appeal. The company will likely say they were denied their right to investigate and prove their claims. Without discovery, they were never given a fair chance to meet the legal standard. The appeals court must now decide whether the judge was protecting journalistic freedom or whether he went too far by blocking legitimate claims. If they believe he acted prematurely or relied on weak authority, they may reverse or modify the ruling. Even if the appeal does not fully succeed, the court might rule that the case should have been dismissed without prejudice, allowing it to be refiled. That alone would give the plaintiffs another chance to present updated evidence. Because of this, the situation is far from over. All parties involved should be cautious. What once looked like a clear victory may now become a long legal battle. An appeal does not guarantee reversal, but it shows determination. It means they are not willing to walk away without fighting for their version of events. They want their chance before a jury and their chance to fully present their case. If the case moves forward again, the roles may reverse. Instead of one side controlling the narrative, others may be forced to defend their actions under oath. So now the big question is, how will this play out? Will the appeals court uphold the ruling, modify it, or send the case back for further proceedings? Will new evidence change everything, or will the original decision stand? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear. This legal fight is not over, and the next chapter could be even more intense than the last.